Let's draw for 10 minutes a day, every single day, for a month. And I really did not like this one. Making art is a muscle, and you just kind of have to do it sometimes. Hello! I personally really love challenges, and I've been on a long sketchbook pause for a long time, and I thought I wanted to try out like a low pressure challenge to get me back into it and stay creative on the daily. And also, if you're new here, I am Tiffany. I am an artist, and I also post fun videos on the internet and a small business owner. Nice to meet you. And because I finished my last pocket sketchbook already, we're gonna start a new one. So let's yap and decorate my new sketchbook with me. I'm definitely the type of person that loves a good mission in my life. I like to give myself little assignments here and there when work starts to feel a little bit monotonous and I need like a little bit of challenge to grow. The sketchbook I'll be using is the Midori A6 blank notebook that I picked up in Taiwan last December. This is my second Midori I bought for sketching, and it's probably one of my more favorite types of sketchbooks because I like that the pages are very smooth, but it's like grippy enough to draw with pencil on it. In my opinion, it holds markers, ink pens, especially like the Muji pens, super nicely. For how thin and transparent the paper is, it really does a decent job with the ink not bleeding too much to the next page. The paper is also the perfect shade of off-white. And the topic of stickering my sketchbook, the stickers I lay out on the cover really sets the tone of how often I want to pick up my sketchbook. Like if I do a really good job and put all my favorite stickers at the moment onto a sketchbook and it's really cute and I love it, then I naturally just want to pick it up and use it more. I'm kind of like a kid with shiny objects. I need to entice myself to pick things up. I'm gonna list some of the artists of these stickers on the screen right here, right now. So if you're just listening, you should look at your screen in case you want to go support their small businesses and buy their stickers. At the end, I just put on a Midori clear cover so that I can throw it around and keep it nice and pretty because I already kind of stained it a little bit, and I think I feel safer with this white sketchbook inside a nice cover. Hello, it's day one and I'm already procrastinating a lot on starting this. Some good luck, pets. Give me some good luck. For today's choice of art materials, I'm sticking to a favorite just because I want to feel comfortable. I have ink supplies, which I really love using markers when I don't know what I want to draw with. So these are the Arteza Twee marker. I think it's supposed to be like twin marker, but without the N. And I really like these colors because they're very like highlighter-esque and super smooth to work with. I also have a Muji 0.5 brown pen for outlines. Should I just not film this video and play with you? I can do that. I can totally do that. We can just like hang out all day. Just me and you. On the first 2 days, I felt so much resistance to starting this challenge. I think there's a part of the body that just like really wants to resist doing the thing that you know is good for you. And that's where the procrastination always sets in. It's kind of like how we always end up wanting to binge TikTok for most of the hours of the day or eat like junk food for dinner, even though we know we'll feel really bad and gross about it at the end of it. We know that there are certain things that will make us feel exceptional good afterwards, like going on a walk, washing the dishes, connecting with your friends, but there's always a resistance for those things because you have to work more for it. And with the dopamine probably hitting more towards the end of the task, it kind of makes it hard to begin it. So instead of just starting, I found myself reorganizing the house, brushing my cat, doing a lot of like productive procrastination till it hit around like 3 p.m. and I realized that I couldn't run away any longer. And after I started, it felt really nice just seeing like all the colors and textures form on the paper, and I felt very much so myself again. But yeah, there was a lot of procrastinating at the beginning. As an artist and a small business owner, I find it important to showcase your work online these days, to have a little corner of the internet to put your work on that isn't just social media, and to be able to curate it to your liking. So let me introduce you to one of my favorite portfolio building websites and sponsors of this video. It's Squarespace. Squarespace is an online website building platform where you can build an art portfolio, e-commerce shop, offer memberships and courses, anything you want really. With their collection of cutting-edge design tools, you can build an online presence to fit your brand or business. They offer a website builder called Blueprint that can help create a personalized website based off of just a few questions that you answer. You really don't need any design experience to get started. And with Squarespace's SEO tools, every website is optimized with meta descriptions so that you can show up more often on search engines so the right customers and people can find you. Check them out at squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/applecheeks to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. I wasn't too persuaded by yesterday's portrait that I did, so we're gonna do it again. We're gonna run it back. I have glasses on today though, so that might be a little bit more tricky than a bare face, but we're gonna try anyways. I tried to add more texture in my hair and like I curled my bangs, so maybe it'll make it more fun. Maybe. I'm gonna use the same art materials, but add in a marker for fun. A Tombow marker. Something I've always been aware of since I went to art school was how bad I was at repetition for improvement. I took a class that was all about observational sketching, and in the class we would draw some things over and over again from different angles, sometimes even the exact same thing from the exact same angle. We would draw like a million circles of the same size on top of each other to like get our hand really used to drawing a circle. And the whole point was to feel comfortable enough drawing that object so that you could technically break it down in your head and draw it from memory. But I didn't like to do that. I like to make a piece, move on to the next. But now, many years later, I'm seeing how it could be important to study something and to get to know it more than just one time. And so this time around, I drew my portrait again because I didn't want to just give up after not liking the first portrait, and I wanted to redeem myself with a second one. And there was definitely an improvement in my second one. I think second try did turn out a lot better. I can tell though I was drawing like very far away from it though. Like when you have your paper flat on the table like this, it kind of skews the image. But it kind of makes it fun and funky, I guess. What's the angle? I'm not playing that game. It's the same business with a different name. Who's the target? Sorry, I'm not in the market. If I quit buying, you can't sell me anything. No thanks, I'll pass. I don't want any of that. I'll just take my chances. No thanks, not now. I made it this far somehow. I'll just take my chances. Collective pressure. It's about time for another lecture. We finished the first week. I decided not to do weekends because I kind of want to relax on the weekends. So this is the first week, speed run. Okay, maybe not speed run, but this is what we managed to do. And I wrote notes every single day trying to figure out like what my feelings were about doing this challenge. And a lot of what I wrote down was that like I felt so rushed, especially the first 2 days, because I didn't really understand the concept of trying to finish a drawing in 10 minutes. And I think because of that, when I go in to a drawing where I want the likeness of something to be really good and spot on, like portraiture or whatever, I end up making the underdrawing so rushed that the final drawing does not look accurate. In my notes, I just wrote down that I want to slow down with the underdrawing because ultimately that's like the most important setup when it comes to making the likeness look like the person. Also, I realized that like limited palette really helps. I mean, this might be an obvious, but choosing out only a few colors that you are gonna use or a few materials so that you're not overwhelmed with the process of thinking. I'm gonna use these 3 colors today, and today I wanna do more like a speed round of drawing. What that means is I'm not gonna just limit myself to 1 page. If I can do multiple pages, that'd be great. And I'm just gonna go like run around the room and just like draw things. So I'll probably have to pause the timer in between each drawing, but it'll be 10 minutes of drawing. On this day, I decided that I wanted to emulate a figure drawing class, except Persimmon was my live model. So if you've ever taken figure drawing classes, usually the layout is you're doing a lot of really fast drawings in the beginning, things like 30 seconds, 1 minute, 3-minute drawings, and after the timer's up, the model switches their pose and you continue until you reach like a longer pose, which is usually like 10 to 30-minute pose. But the idea for me today was to split up the 10 minutes into as many, I guess, like smaller drawings as possible. I think I only ended up doing 2, but I had the mindset of I need to capture this image really fast and just put it down on paper. I think I definitely could have gone a lot faster, maybe like draw in a smaller format, but you know, it is what it is. I got caught up with the details. I think next time I would time it in like 1-minute intervals. So instead of seeing the whole 10-minute countdown, I'll just do 10 1-minute countdowns. The first week, I feel like I played around with a lot more materials, but week 2, however, was very much a pencil-heavy week. My friend took a bunch of portraits of our friends that we met through like creator camp and stuff, and it's for like a upcoming film fest. By the way, if you're in Austin, Texas, around the April time, I'll link below if you want to buy a ticket to go to a film festival that I'm also hosting a little workshop there with Lynn and Max. But anyways, I just really wanted to draw and sketch out these portraits that he took because I just like drawing portraits, and I thought this would be like a good variety of different people that I know personally that I could draw a portrait of. And so I just, took my pencil and I started drawing them. My favorite pencil to use during this time was the Blackwing pencil, which I have been using these pencils from my sketchbook since I was in college, and recently I started getting back into Blackwings, and it's just as good as they were before. They're so buttery and easy to use. If I'm being honest, I definitely prefer drawing more femme faces. I think it's a lot easier for me. There's something about like curvier, softer features and lines that make my pencil flow a lot easier compared to like when I draw a portrait of a man and they're just so angular, I mean, not all men are angular, but like I just feel like drawing women so much easier. But yeah, this was a fun week for me because I was really in my element in portraiture, and the more I drew them, the easier it was for me to draw even more portraits, so it was a good time. let's do a little check-in on how this is going. We are done with 2 full weeks of drawing every day. I pretty much for last week continued with more observational drawings and less stylized stuff. Like I very much so continued with portraiture because I really wanted to get a grasp of it and like feel good about my portraiture instead of moving on even when I really hate everything that I was drawing. And so I think I got to a good point where it was starting to get more natural drawing these portraits for me. And then I started doing new types of drawing and I really did not like this one. Like low-key, I wish I never drew this, but that's just what happens as a creative. You make stuff you don't like and you move on, or you put a post-it note over it, but I'm gonna leave it as a reminder. And then I made this little spread and I really liked it, and it's like more, I'm going more into like stylized territory, more simplified, less realistic. I do have to say though, I do feel myself procrastinating more and more every day to film this. Before, I think the first week and a half, I was knocking these out in the morning. It was my warm-up for the day. It was as smooth as like journaling every day. And then there was a point where I started to procrastinate a lot. I can't tell whether it's because it's like a to-do list task, like I have it on my to-do list every morning. I think I'm like starting to build a little bit more pressure on myself to make something good. And I just need to remind myself, that not everything has to be beautiful. This challenge is literally just to warm up every day and just like have fun. And it doesn't have to be creative, doesn't gotta be like the best thing I've ever made. It's just a drawing for 10 minutes a day. And that's it. And then sometimes maybe you'll make something like this that's very cute and you actually really like it. And that's only because you did 10 minutes of drawing every day. I jumped back into more stylized drawing this week to switch it up. I also had a lot more deadlines and stress this week, a lot of like family stuff going on, so a lot of my drawing was really just like playing it safe or just letting myself have fun and decompress and not stress and just like doodle around. I didn't want to add more pressure onto myself with this challenge as I was like going through a lot during this week. I also was able to use these like 10 minutes a day to help me brainstorm ideas for other projects I was working on. And by this week too, I was starting to feel really comfortable in my sketchbook again since I had been so consistent with it. Also, I'd be so curious to know, do you all stick to one style with your sketchbook, or do you also like to jump all over the place and sometimes do like realism and then do stylized? I feel like I'm very much that person that gets bored easily, so I'm always jumping back and forth. It really keeps my brain mentally stimulated, switching it up. Week 4, I was struggling. Okay, I was struggling. My drawings were not hitting, which is okay. There will be days where the art just does not look like what you want it to look like, but we must go on anyways. Not every single day can be a hit. Like some days are just extremely good days and some days are kind of bad, and then some days are just neutral. But it's important for me to acknowledge that I had to keep pushing through instead of just admitting defeat and stopping there. My stress levels and drawing and making art are so intertwined sometimes that it shows. Like ideally, I think my art thrives when I have absolutely nothing planned for that day so that I can just paint and draw till the early AM. My design brain, on the other end, can work in all sorts of times and deadlines. Design is very much using my logical part of my brain. Art is 100% reflected on my feelings and emotions. Everything balances out in its own way. So far, I think the hardest part about being on week 4 is that I was not too consistent because sometimes life hits and then you kind of have to pause a little bit, and like getting back into it was kind of hard. If I'm honest, like the past 2 days that I was drawing, I wasn't really fully into it. I think I wasn't really like mentally there. So I'm not too proud of these 2 pieces, but I showed up. Despite still being a little checked out, I think I'm going to just keep going. Making art is a muscle, and you just kind of have to do it sometimes, even if you don't feel like doing it.
Silk lining, delicate paper, tangerine rind. Tulip petals on the dresser all come to mind.
Oh.
Soft plum pink dress and shoulders.
I'm not so sure if I like this.
Trace letters over
It doesn't. It's okay. It's okay.
I can see a moonflower awaken somewhere where past taken. Somewhere where past seashells, voices rising, silver wind chimes. Red clay pots lined up in a row all come to mind. Braiding purple clover in the summertime.
Time's up.
Our hands pressed together, breathing light. I'm in a field you're making. I can see a moonflower awaken.
I see you made it to almost the end. On the last few days, I was kind of just like traveling. I was in San Francisco for a couple of days, and what I love about this challenge is that I can literally whip out my sketchbook anywhere and just sit down and draw. And for me, I found a nice little park. I went to the Dolores Park, and there were like a ton of open benches and everyone was just like doing their own things. I was sitting in the section with all of the puppies. There was at least like 20 dogs, and I just sat down and did like some speed drawings of the dogs. I did a drawing of this like really big tree, and it was so just like architecturally beautiful, like I don't know, very pleasing to the eye proportionately. This challenge was really cool because like 10 minutes is such a small fraction of the day that, you know, you could have been like TikToking for those 10 minutes. You could have been on the toilet for 10 minutes. I don't know why I use that as a reference, but like 10 minutes is so small, and I feel like anyone can kind of find a few minutes within their day to just like doodle or warm up with some sketches. And I also love that like when I was at the park, I usually am like really anxious, and because I was traveling solo, it was really grounding to just like take out my sketchbook and then do observational drawings, and it made me feel more present in the moment, which I really appreciated. But yeah, that was my drawing for 10 minutes every single day for a month, and now I'm gonna challenge you to do it. Go out there and have fun and draw. Low stakes drawing, just like grab a random pen. You can even draw on a napkin. Just go have fun. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you made it to the end, maybe you want to consider subscribing, maybe leaving me a like, and comment banana just so I know you made it to the end. Alright, much love. I will see you in the next video. Bye! Bye! I'm sorry, Percy. I feel like I'm always just like annoying you. I'm a very annoying cat owner.